If you can convince a lion that your power is stronger, it will run away from you. If you can get inside the mind of a giant, you can turn it into a little child, much weaker than yourself. You are the gods. Maybe you serve and worship demigods without realizing it. You know a lot more than you think you do. You can do a lot more than you do. Much of what you think you cannot fathom is knowable, but especially to you of all the beings. You are the one who will make the unknowable knowable. No science can make the universe greater than man's collective will. You are man. You are here to man, to master, to manage aspects of this dimensional reality, not to be subject, manned, or governed by that of a lesser faculty. At least, not anymore, and not at this time. You are under a spell. I am not saying that the acts of creation in perpetual motion are out of control, or that things are not where they should be. I am saying that you are who you are, and control is now for you to take. We are in this respite stage where your input will bring higher light to the universe. We are engaged with from within you. But you have to get back to who you are. If I tell you what you will be considered as by those that see you from the outer pyramid, you might become afraid and you might be angry at the truth and the bearer of the news. I will tell you now anyway. You are under a spell that pulls your energy to the lowest frequency vibration. It is a disease deliberately cast, and no mention of it will be made except in horror movies because you don't even perceive your own illness. Those of a higher realm will refer to people with your diseased condition as zombies. The general populace of this earth realm is already zombified. You were distracted, being told that a zombie apocalypse was coming while you were being made into the zombies. Not all things you can see with your naked eyes. Not all things you will know until the revealer speaks to you. I point at what I see in the woodwork as a builder points to a fault in the building. You cannot see this. You cannot know this because there is no way for you to reckon that you should be at a higher standard. The disease is cast upon your ability to reckon. You were induced to dependency for definition that you agreed to take. Now all your outcomes are predefined because you reason on the basis of pre-definitions, trusting that each letter or syllable was formed upon the independent thought, but they are not. You took servitude in exchange for your godhood, and now your internal God is outside of you in the form of ulterior motive, and this is not good. This is not something that happened yesterday. You have been here for ages, but only consistently getting worse. And this is the pivotal point. This is where it stops. And then there should be a turnaround. This is a crossroad. And this is why we are here. Have you been hearing absurd people like me before? You have been hearing a lot of stuff that you say are ridiculous, but it was never as bad as this before. You're at a crossroad. It is time for it, and it is why we are here. Compare you to your higher God self, that which you were many ages ago. and you will see the dead carcass that you have become. No demigod can rule over a god if that god is in his self. You have to vibrate at the lowest level, and that degree of vibration crosses the line into being a zombie. Everyone who lives, believes, and fails to see the evil devices has been zombified. Everyone who lives, believes, and fails to see the evil devices has been zombified. Sometimes people with mental conditions go off raging mad, and it becomes hard to convince them that they are. The use of a distraction caused you to look beyond the moment when it was happening. You look to the future when it was in the now. You watch these movies about zombies, you see them biting at the brains and saying they want more brains. Why do zombies want brains? They don't. They are simply demonstrating the need for access to the mind. Nothing is more powerful than being the definer, the diviner, and the god of a cultivated mindset. Nothing is more powerful than being the definer, the diviner, and the God of a cultivated mindset. If you have the culture of all the world population, you become King of Kings and God of Gods. You are able to manage human outcomes and thus their destinies. You will be able to own souls, and that their own will shall be yours and not their own. Neither shall they think to question or conceive a value in themselves as important as you. They will be the sacrificed Son of Man, sacrificing themselves and calling for the blood of the Son of Man from year to year, from decade to decade, and from darkness to darkness in the pits of hell. They will call for the sacrificing of themselves and surrender as the prey. You are the Son of God. Did you know that? You, the Son of Man, was the Lamb brought to be slain, who foolishly and willingly went without a murmur of protest involving your right or about your right and the inherent will to be. You give your will and your purpose to an external God. You do not trust your own understanding. You trust that of a great man, a wise one who knows and you think you cannot know. You trust the will of a great man, a wise one who knows and you think you cannot know. This spell is not only in Christianity. The highest religion of the day is a modified version of science, which is now the spirit that connects demons to masterdom. You perceive this power as only in the mundane, as if they alone will split the atom and therefore must make your decisions for you. You give up your power. The mockery is simply that all this magic is cultivated with words and not the material deceptions. One contaminated by the demon concepts will use his mouth to speak it and corrupt the mind of the other. This is what the zombie movie is saying. The idea that turns men into zombies is contagious. By word of mouth, one will implant it to the brain of the other, and all will be zombified in the resulting pandemic, which will be a spiritual matter. Spelling to bring curse or mediocrity is spiritual warfare. Systemizing demon spells is spiritual wickedness in government. From the leaders to the people. This is a horrible business. Demigod demons trading in human souls. Am I telling you about a conspiracy? I don't care to do so or not to do so. I only care to show you who you truly are. And if I must show you who you are, I must give you keys to clarity, keys that are inherent in you. No, I am not showing you a conspiracy. I am showing you keys to clarity. We have longed to see God arising once again. We long for the golden ages. We long to marvel in the marvel of you, Son of God, appearing as man. We want to hear that girl in the east speak of the magic things she discovered and the boy in the west who astounds the world with a beautiful thing that once seemed unimaginable. If you please come out of this dark place, please come back to us and let us worship you again, sons of the light appearing as a man. It is always about word. When you watch the witches in cartoons chanting rhymes, when you hear the word abracadabra, which is as I speak it, so it manifests, you are exposed to the ultimate secret of sorcery in all of its spell casting ways. By words alone, you can easily put a demon spirit inside an inanimate object. Do you believe I am talking about magic or superstition? No, I am talking about a simple thing like 1 plus 1 equals 2. Besides, it's something that in your life you have always done, but now you don't. Remember, words are energies, and these energies define the deeper spells to communicate. It is life. Words act as bridges between the seen and unseen, the spirit and the physical. It is the most potent force consisting in a material plane. Therefore, it defines, designs, and orders the magic, which is no magic at all but simple and generic science. A zombie is a man forgetting his own internal words. He is a man who forgets his own internal words. I am overwhelmed by so many things to say. It is impossible to give the details in everything, but it is much easier to simply raise the topic in confidence that it will meet the good God in you. God internal, man divine, please arise. A zombie is too confused to reckon. He is mentally retarded because he is brought to a place where he cannot process his own intelligence on any level that allows him to maintain his personal autonomy. He must be governed, he must be ruled, he must be commanded for his own good, or so it will seem. The more zombified he becomes, the more autonomy he loses. This must be a gradual process, for the sorcerer will not want to shock him back into wakefulness. Today, while you are still at that slightly higher vibratory state, you could be told that you can make this choice on your own because you have a right to your own person. Tomorrow, as you slowly sink lower, you will be told that this decision concerning the right to your person must be made by a higher authority because you cannot trust your own understanding. So the definers will prescribe solutions to you. The zombie story is simply showing you how easily you were had. Spells are structural edifices, physical or spiritual, that communicate word and meaning to mind. By them, mind will reckon. Spells can be conceived from within via internal conceptions, or they can be communicated from without by varying communicating channels like seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, or smelling. Information that comes from within are authentic. That which comes from without will go through critical processes before being accepted by the subject. Unless you are superstitious, in fear, or dependent for definition, it is usually quite difficult to convince someone that a whale swallowed you for 3 days, but you were never digested. Let me explain the meaning of word in this case. Word is everything, every event or conception. Word is consciousness, generic and otherwise. It is intrinsic. The all is nothing but word. A note struck on a guitar is a word. You can identify a spell of time as a word, even akin to the sway of a swing song. Every defining order or concept is a word. We use words to define what is, but what is was word before we created words. These energies existed before we gave them names. A zebra was what it is before we decided to define it. The critical mind is the doorway for inclusion in all universes, paradigms, or dimensions. Nothing that is not conceived and ratified will become conventional. One simple way to describe this generic point of contact to consciousness, this Big Bang, is intercourse. The critical mind is the intercourse. All energies intercourse perpetually. All energies make intercourse perpetually. That is how they are conceived, received, and perpetuated. All things involving intercourse comes from the critical consciousness or conscience. It is the ideal creation force. Nothing is created without intercourse. Every contact is intercourse. Take a bashful pill right here if you are a little bit shy. When Serena Williams contact racket to ball, it is intercourse. You hear the climax and something is conceived. The same sounds and emotions conducive to intercourse will be expressed because all definitions are unique and sexual reactions are the same. Intercourse ends with climax, and the sound of the thunder is one example. It creates a warning, and so the tone will not be the soothing lap of little beach waves upon the sand, which makes you want to stay and be at peace. The thunder is a piercing threat that tells you to look out for the lightning. All things created and ratified becomes a part of the mindset culture, being it of a universe, a paradigm, or an individual. Great creators, be it in music, art, sports, or so, intercourse with the subject more deeply, and their emotions draw greater results. Their determination is felt with overwhelming sexual energies. We do not want to get to a point where words don't even make sense. So be patient. I am not just trying to make nonsensical sounds. I am bringing you to your own tabernacles that are inside of you. Here will you answer many questions that you think there are no answers for. You will answer the issue of third eye, self-healing, and how to be a God again by looking inside yourself. This conversation is one that I thought out well. I am talking to you from inside of you, or else you would only be looking without where any wind will carry you. The wrangler fighting a fish on the line feels the same sexual energy as that which one feels during intercourse. It is a deliberate energy, but there are some variation that you must come to know and to realize the dynamics of sexual magic and also the difference between the two types of beings in human form. Those that are egoist, the narcissists, and sociopaths feed on this sexual energy with the mindset of a wrangler. Those that are egoists, like the narcissists and sociopaths, feed on the sexual energy with the mindset of a wrangler. He must receive worship. He must be the man and take control. You may reverse the gender if you are female. The same goes for you. This is where the beating with the whip and dirty talk comes to life. These are the powers that be who will rule in dark ages as we are in at 2022 and turning away from. They cannot think in terms of the good of all because ego is a linear principle, like a straight line. They cannot think in terms of the great circle of life. So, because of that reason, there is no way to be concerned about the greater good for all. They must think in terms of one force that owns and dictates to the other. They cannot think in terms of shining your own light and letting others do the same. They must think in being the ruler and pointing others to where they think it serves their purpose. Therefore, in their paradigm, there is a top and a bottom, leaders and servants. There is no center point, only one end of the stick or the other. This sexual magic might be demonic and possessive, and this is the order we are in, and we have been in for quite some time. There is no problem in any society that government cannot solve in a short space of time. And this is a news flash to everyone. There is no problem in any society that government cannot solve in a short space of time. And let the prime minister or king or president of any country try to contradict this. The problem is that you agree with them that it is futile and so you don't demand it. The problem is that their purpose is served by denying you a solution. The problem is that you put them before your children. Stop this self-sacrificing. Keep following this channel and you will find the answers beyond the shadow of a doubt. A woman who walks to the forest, touches a tree, and admires it is having intercourse with the love offerings of nature, but she also returns the equal balance. This is another mindset to take in sexual intercourse. It is the Christ-like spirit of empaths. It is almost rare because it is not in the season as yet. When these partners meet, it is experienced as a divine miracle. It is still the most happy feeling on earth. These souls will guide in golden ages. They will not rule, they will not govern, but they will shine their light, which will create them as a center point. There is no top nor bottom. All will be equal, so that divine God potentials will be released to all. This is what you are being prepared for at the cups of Aquarius. You are treading upon the threshold of paradise. You see me calling? You hear how much I am calling you? It's because I know you a lot and you don't know yourself. Be wise about how you make intercourse and energies that affect your family and others around you. Be careful about the person you evolve to be tomorrow. We could talk a lot about sex and sex magic, but remember that we cannot go off on tangents, for we will give you too much time. We will lose too much time. We will lose just too much. It is more useful to say a little bit about all things. It will bring you back to your center point, and you already know the intricate details from within. All you need is to learn how to source them. Everything I tell you is something you know, even those you disagree with today, but will embrace tomorrow. I am not worried that you will not come to agree. I do not think we even have time to go into looking at the card spell today. I believe we will leave it here and ask you to press the bell icon to get part 3. Also hit the like button. Peace out.